Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is May 29th here in Auckland, New Zealand, and it is June this week. Now, before I give you a recap and go into this week's Monday mantra, please, if you're listening to this on the Beacon app, tag and share in your stories that you're doing the meditations or pulling a card or using the lunar cycle calendar, whatever it is, let people know. And if you're on Spotify, please don't forget to follow and share, tag, let people know that you're listening to the Monday mantra. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as share and tag as well if you can. Really helps me to be able to get the word out there that there are these Monday mantras for everybody to progress their soul, all done in 20 minutes for you every single week. So as I do a recap for last week's energy, I am patient with the process of true change to happen. I really noticed last week with clients that the healing was very, very deep. It's really evident to me from the healer perspective that people, and most probably unconsciously a lot of the time, because, you know, for me, energy is amplified when I work on someone. They may not be feeling the energy, but I do. Really, really deep energy coming into me for me to release it. So people are wanting to let go of old ways of doing things. They want to let go of how they've been thinking. They want to start again, but with the new old version. What I mean by that is there is this wisdom within your soul that gets distracted by all of the human things that we get bombarded with in life, and the day-to-day struggle, the day-to-day suffering, which makes us put all these survival mechanisms in place. So this isn't about doing everything differently, but it's about boundaries that allow you to have more time for your passions and for yourself. You also, with the new you, will find that not everyone's going to accept you. So, for example, I wanted to give you a couple of case studies from clients last week. Now, I don't ever remember who people are when I talk about them, but talk about these stories to help you, but they are very, very interesting. So, for example, I remember having some situation come up last week where a client came to me for the first time, and I could see all these blueprints where it never works out with her and the father of her children. So she comes into a life, she has children with a man, and then she leaves him, and then she shuts down to this next relationship. I could see that she gets into a next relationship, but she keeps it at a distance because she's distracted with career and doing all of the things to survive, because the first relationship hasn't worked for many lifetimes, every single lifetime that she's had. But the interesting thing, the part that needed healing and the change, is that I started describing situations to her and even really accurate characteristics of who she was and the type of partner that she had. And I remember her response saying, "Oh my God, that is exactly what my daughter is and what my daughter is doing now." And I was like, interesting. So what that showed me, and then in turn her, is that without her healing, that trauma that she's got from her soul blueprint is traveling into her children to identically recreate relationship blueprints that the mother has had in lifetimes before. It was so, so fascinating. And so, for example, the client needed to set certain boundaries to protect herself from, because she's had this relationship in lifetimes before, in this lifetime that didn't work out with the father of her children. But the boundaries were detrimental. They weren't boundaries that were cultivating passion in the relationship. It was too much on the other side, where it was, I need time for myself. I need to protect myself because I can't fully trust, because every single lifetime I've had, it never really works out. So what we could see in the blueprint is that it does work out with the second relationship, but the ball's in her court. If she wants to keep it at a distance, she will never truly experience love the way that she wants to experience it. That is part of the soul progression for her, is to learn that lesson. So I've just found that while it's a new you, it's actually an old part of you that knows but just didn't realize it, where I come in and show you, right, this is where the issue is, this is what you need to be doing. Because people are afraid that their needs won't be fulfilled. And so we start to fulfill our own needs, like certain people that I see with clients who really want relationships, but then they're putting out an energy of I'm not available or I can do everything myself, which is great. So this is not about being codependent, but listen to that word and remember that word because it comes in for this week's Monday mantra, which I'll tell you shortly. It's not about being codependent, it's about leaving space for somebody else to love you and someone else to do what they want to do to help you. Finances has been coming up a lot this month in the last couple of weeks. It comes back again this week, but just in a different way. And it's because of the poverty energy that's coming in. It's stemming from ancestral trauma. So I noticed that with clients, there was quite a lot of energy around healing where they have been rejected or abandoned and having to fend for themselves. Like, I need to find money for myself. I need to be able to do this. Another situation that came up that Spirit's showing me now was a client, again, someone I'd never met before. I can't remember exactly who it is, but this person, I could see blueprints where again, has children with someone and that person leaves them and also leaves them with no money. And so the client is essentially used by men a lot where they bear his children, but then they don't provide for those children, meaning the husband hadn't provided for those children. And so what was happening in this situation is that the client feels like they're completely unworthy and don't have any capability of earning any money or receiving anything because that's how it's always been in lifetimes. And so there were strong reminders and strong energy shifts in that session for new pathways to come in to be able to receive. And that person's boundaries were, excuse me, you actually have a responsibility in these children and you're going to have to contribute in some way because I can't do it on my own anymore. And this is lifetimes and lifetimes of the same thing that I picked up, evident in this client's life now in this life. So trusting yourself to let go of what isn't working for you and allowing yourself to grieve these old parts of you. Because it's really hard to let go of the way that we have been because it's scary. It's going into this territory of like, oh my God, my soul hasn't done this before. My soul hasn't been able to stand up for myself or set boundaries where I can do what I want to and fulfill my needs. So there was movement last week, but there was also towards the end of the week, this cyclic process of needing things to end before things can start again. So I had another really interesting experience I had last week. So I always wear a necklace and I had a regular client call me, and sadly this client had lost a baby, and the baby, she had to deliver this baby. And the baby was following me around all day, like all day. I didn't realize who it was for because, Kieran gives me my list of people in the morning and I get paperwork out if I recognize their names as a regular client. And so when I was going to the bathroom and this baby was there, I was like, who do you belong to? She's like, oh, one of your clients today. So anyway, when the client came online, the baby said to me, tell her to get the pendant for the necklace. And I said, okay. So I was grabbing on to my necklace going, okay, the baby's telling me you need to get the pendant for the necklace. And she said, well, that's interesting because I've got the necklace, I just haven't got the pendant yet. And it's amazing how spirit you can feel spirit physically. It's not just, in the air. The baby actually pulled my necklace and broke it. And partway through my conversation with her, I said, oh my God, because my necklace was underneath my clothing. So when I was holding my pendant, it was through my sweatshirt. I actually had to reach under my sweatshirt and say, my necklace just broke. While we were talking about that, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for my child doing that. But this is how powerful spirit is with their messages. And I found myself having to let go of so much energy for people last week because people are really ready with that movement. It may not come across as physical movement, but spiritually, we are all moving leaps and bounds. So this is the time for your healing. So don't forget, there are ways to see me at different tiers of affordability. If you want to see me in person, that's a very exclusive service, but it is available. If you want to have an Ascension Seeker session where you haven't met me before, but you want to see me sooner rather than later, or if you want to wait on the regular wait list, emergency session, if you have seen me before, mini readings for 3 PDF questions, soul magics. There's so many different ways to see me and get my support. And this is a really, really powerful time of healing. Your personalized meditations have been just so incredibly deep, and a lot of beautiful messages and healing coming through me for those. It's really interesting. I know this sounds a bit gross, but I just am going to share with you what I experience. So when I record personalized meditations, as part of the energy coming through me, there's a lot of air that comes through me. So I would find myself belching a lot, which is something that Gaia naturally doesn't do. But when I'm recording meditations, because I'm not with you and I'm channeling information through and healing through, the belching comes out as your energy is already starting to shift. So those are highly, highly powerful when I'm recording them for your soul progression in your own time. So if you need any help at all for any of my services, remember every rate of affordability is available at the different tiers. Email Kieran at soul33@gmail.com. If you need to renew your app, it's only $60 a year, which is only $5 a month. There are no other meditation apps like that at all, especially at that price with someone who's here for you all the time. So email Kieran, there's a separate link for that. We keep it off the app stores because of how much more I'd have to charge you for the app, because they take a huge percentage. So do email Kieran at soul33@gmail.com for all the help that you need. She will be able to help you, or go to the website www.soul33.com. Okay, when I write the energy forecasts for a month, for like the month that we're in, about 4, 5, 6 weeks before the actual month. So for example, June's monthly forecast was written in early May, and then then I break it down for our Monday mantras. This week's made me laugh. Now, if you can hear in my voice, I actually have to admit to you, I've been very sick for the last few days. Now, those who know me well, Gaia doesn't get sick. Gaia has not been sick in a cold form or any type of form in literally years. Like, I'm talking about this type of sickness where you're congested and needing to lie down. And when I was reading this week's forecast that I'd written over a month ago, I actually had to laugh because listen to this. Your Monday mantra for this week is, my inner power is resting for my mind and body to be aligned. My inner power is resting for my mind and body to be aligned. There is an old part of us coming out. Now, this is the part that is vulnerable. This is the part that may be codependent, which is the word that I used before. It may be the part that needs some dependency, needing some sort of reassurance or attention or proof that you're loved and supported and all of those things, but more from that victim side of things, not so much from that place of empowerment. So this is old parts of us coming up. There seems to be a bit of a slowdown at the moment, and it's because you need to rest, and things will pick up again, and your new balance will resume to normal. So a new balance will resume to normal, meaning that once this mind and body has aligned, especially with all the deep healing taking place, I'm doing a lot of soul magics for people too. The healing's really profound. But this is the part that made me laugh. If burnouts are going to happen because you haven't prioritized rest, this is the week it may happen if it didn't already start last week. So I actually giggled when I saw that, even though I've been working, because I've been working on Zoom. But I have been sleeping in between sessions. I've been sleeping after sessions to rest. And I have been sleeping on the couch because I have needed to rest. This is where I'm recording the Monday mantra from, actually. This is the couch. So really, this was a really good lesson for me, because I've just been going and going and going. Even if I take trips away, I'm still working. It just never stops. And then my mind is going, yep, Gaia, do this, Gaia, do this. Like, I was vacuuming a couple of days ago while I was sick, and I felt like passing out, but I had to keep going because there was things, this is in my mind, I had to keep going because there's things I need to go and do. But that was the night that I started getting really, really sick. And so there we go. We are all human. Doesn't matter how spiritual we are. If your body has other thoughts that is not in the mind, it is going to show you. So what is your body telling you? How are you feeling? And you need to listen to that, because I've had to rest where I could this week without letting my clients down. So really important that you are listening to what your body is telling you, because wrote this over a month ago, and my body is doing exactly what Spirit told me it was likely to do if I didn't watch it. So I didn't even listen to my own Spirit guide's advice at this time. So your mind and body need to be working in unison this week in order to get everything in balance. So you may need to commit to the balance before you get stopped in your tracks with your body telling you to just stop. When your mind and body are out of alignment, your mind will be telling you to do things, but your body is showing you something else. So this is where really listen. So check in to see that everything is working together. Rest when you need it, because things really do catch up on you. This week you'll also need to use your discernment, recognizing the subtleties that are coming in life. But you're also being asked to be brave in your decisions. So listen to this next part. Sometimes saying no leads you to more. Sometimes saying no leads you to more. There is prosperity for you to reap from your downtime, as in the downtime you have the space to receive. So it's okay to rest, and it's really, really important. Like I think I had another client last week who was concerned about her husband. And I said, well, yes, if they work like that, it will catch up at some point. So the rest is really, really needed. The healing is needed. New options and ideas are being revealed as everything starts to work in unison. So you are being asked to be open to new ways of doing things and be brave in moving past your limitations. So that's going to be like the inner power coming up within you from the downwards energy this week. Not downward spiral, but just downwards, like all this old stuff coming in, like the real human things coming up to deal with. Because this whole month, if we look back at it, it's really been about the human journey. We're all of us listening to this, doing our meditations, all of the healing. It's a spiritual journey in a human body, but this month in particular, it's really been about all the human things and the human experience. It's really understanding how we think and act and how we respond to life, and it's all up for review and realignment this week. Ultimately, you're getting your inner power back, which is going to be needed as we move in through this June energy. So it's just fascinating for me when I go and read these closer to the time to set your Monday mantra sometimes with the Monday mantras, you have to really listen to them Monday, Wednesday, Friday and go, okay, so how is this, what do I need to know to progress my soul? How am I going with curiosity? This is what's happening for me. This is what I think this means. What is my body saying? So really important messages this week. And just remember, if those old parts of you are coming out, that's a really good thing, because it's all part of the realignment that's coming in with the mind and the body. Remember, I am here for you in so many different ways. So just let Kieran know whether you want to see me in person, have a Zoom session, Soul Magics, personalized meditations. Thank you for being here on the app. Thank you for listening to me with my congested voice. I'm very committed to this journey. So regardless of, even if I was lying on a hospital bed right now, I would still be here helping you. So I'm very, very grateful for all of you that are committed to this journey and committed to my app and showing up for yourselves, because I'm showing up for you and you are greatly supported. You are allowed to rest, because you're going to need it as we move through the second half of the year. Lots of big things coming. I'm excited to share with you all the Monday mantras that are coming up very soon. soul33@gmail.com, www.soul33.com. Invest in your spiritual journey. It's so important, because that's what's going to be there for you in the end. There are so many different ways to use me, especially when you ring for sessions. Those who have seen me before, some people actually call up saying, I've noticed this pattern with me, this is what I want you to help me deal with, or I need to clear this blockage, or whatever it is. So remember, I can be used in that way, or also my mediumship abilities to talk to loved ones who have passed away, even animals or babies that you're wanting to call in. So yeah, there's many different ways to use me, but Kieran is the person, soul33@gmail.com. Don't forget to tag, share, let people know that all of this exists. It really helps to grow my platform. Sending you lots of love and rest and regenerating that inner power. I will be in touch with you this week with a new meditation for the first week of the new month.